Welcome to our discussion today of virtual reality in education. So today we're going to be looking at how the mobile application of virtual reality can help contribute to the learning process. My name is Caleb Land, and for this project we used Google Cardboard and some of the tour creators and Google Cardboard apps that Google provides. So obviously there are some more expensive forms of virtual reality, but for most classrooms and for most teachers, if you're not going to adopt this on a school-wide level, a Google Cardboard is like maybe $5, $6, $7. You can get them anywhere, Amazon.com or through Google, and use just a smartphone that your students or even yourself has. So it's pretty low cost. The apps were all free. Now, if you want to get a little bit more intense into it and build like a virtual reality lab or something, then that's a possibility. Through virtual reality, students can explore outer space, the inner workings of the human body, animated worlds to enhance learning. They can complete tasks and guided tours created by the teacher. It really immerses the learner in a 3D environment and allows for virtual exploration that roots learning in a virtual space designed by the teachers. And so I think I said that I used Google Tour Creator. So that website is going to look like this. And it's pretty simple. You just go there. If you have a Google account, you just log in and you're able to create these virtual tours. You can use built-in Google Street Views, or you can upload your own 360-degree photos that you've taken of certain points of interest or places in museums or wherever it might be that you want to do your tour of. And creating a tour looks a little bit like this once you get in there. So you can see this tour that I created for Louisville, Georgia. But if you wanted to start a new tour, you just click on New Tour. And it's going to walk you through the process, just like a lot of the other Google applications if you're familiar with those. So it's a really easy process, doesn't cost any money, and so it's pretty easy, intuitive if you're used to using Google applications. Let's take a look at the research really quickly. So does virtual reality enhance education? So the 2019 Horizon Report on Educational Technology lists mixed reality, including virtual reality, as one of the key and growing trends in educational technology. It points to a widespread adoption within 2 to 3 years. The key, according to the report, was that educators and school tech experts become fluent in the use of mixed media so that it actually helps and contributes to education in meaningful ways. There's several pieces of research that I looked through, several readings and a couple of different meta-analyses of the data. And really, if you look at this last bullet point here on this systematic meta-analysis, this is going to really help us out. So out of 61 studies that they looked at, 100% of the studies found some advantages to the use of virtual reality in education, across fields, across disciplines. So the main learning gains reported were in improvements in their scores and those learning gains, and then also in motivation to participate. Only 15% of studies reported disadvantages in including virtual reality, and these included the complexity of using AR or VR and also the technical difficulties that are involved in those things. So overwhelmingly positive results. It seems like we're just not quite to the point where there's enough resources available for widespread adoption yet. But as far as the data showing that there are real benefits to virtual reality, that is clear. So for us, we want to look at the 4 C's: collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. So trying new approaches to get things done equals innovation and invention, working together to reach a goal, putting talent, expertise, and smarts to work, looking at problems in new ways, linking learning across subjects and disciplines, sharing thoughts, questions, and ideas. These are the things that are going to help us in our 21st century learning. So how does virtual reality enhance or support 21st century learning detailed in those 4 C's? Well, according to the research, it does an excellent job enhancing, supporting 21st century learning, especially in the areas of creativity and of critical thinking. So learners are able to try new approaches and to look at problems in new ways across the disciplines. And so that's a really helpful way that virtual reality improves our learning from a 21st century perspective. So one particular way that I decided to use virtual reality and to test it out and put it into practice was by creating a virtual tour of Louisville, Georgia, which was an early capital of the state of Georgia and is actually part of the standards that I teach, the SS8H4 and the Georgia Standards of Excellence. And so if you were to click on this link, it would take you to an online site just that anybody can go to. And I think there's some kind of benefit for if you just look online at the tour, you can see a virtual tour here. And so this is what it would look like on the web browser version. It's sort of the modern courthouse here in Jefferson County. And then it's got some other elements that it brings in. It talks about, kind of overlays a picture from history of the burning of the Yazoo Act of 1806, and you can sort of scroll over here and see where a slave market was in 1786. And so you can see it kind of puts you in Louisville, Georgia, which is the least known of any of the capitals of the state of Georgia. It kind of helps the learner to visualize being there and to connect it to some of the other standards as well. But it is no more engaging really than a PowerPoint presentation. Now, if we go back and look at a video of my son participating in this virtual tour using Google Cardboard, I think even without any audio, we can just see from his face the excitement and the motivation that he has to learn what he's a 4th grader and is an 8th grade standard. And you can kind of see the different level of engagement that he has with learning that's brought about by this virtual reality process. So what are some critiques or future recommendations? Well, educators need to make sure that this is not just a neat add-on. It's not just something to stick in the corner and pull out when they have nothing else to do. For this to be a valuable contributing force, it needs to be an essential part of the curriculum, and they need to know how to use it. The truth is that this is a wide open space for developers. There is a huge range of applications, and there is a tipping point for affordability and abundance of resources that we've not quite hit yet, but it's coming. And I think that some of the affordable options are definitely a possibility for all teachers to go ahead and get involved in and adopt now. The technology, if you want to take it up another notch, is a big investment. So schools need to see enough of the data and to be trained as far as teachers are concerned in how to use it so that schools feel that it's worth the cost. And maybe teachers using some of the cheaper alternatives and seeing some positive gains and results can help students along that path. So there's a possibility for both collaboration and communication in using VR, but those areas are not quite well developed yet, which just leaves an opening and a possibility for future development. So the conclusion, learn VR, make use of it within your curriculum. I can tell you honestly that coming into this course, as much as I enjoyed a lot of different technologies, I was kind of rolled my eyes at virtual reality, thinking it was just sort of a novelty. But through this study and through the data and the implementation of this one virtual tour that I created, I think that virtual reality could be a huge help to me in my classroom, and I'll definitely be using it this year.